Video lesson number 4 is aperture, and the aperture is probably the most confusing thing to photographers. I get the most questions about the aperture. The aperture is also called the f-stop and also called the lens opening. The f-stop means fractional value, and these numbers control light very similar to the shutter speed. What I want you to think about to understand an aperture is a pipe. If you have a 4-inch pipe and you're filling your pool and you're getting the volume from a 4-inch pipe, and you want to cut the time in half, you could use an 8-inch pipe. If you wanted to make it longer, you would use a 2-inch pipe. Think about a pipe. The larger the pipe, the more light that passes through it. And if you take a 4-inch pipe, you want to cut the time in half, you go to 8-inch pipe. If you want to double the amount of time to fill the pool slower, you go to 2-inch pipe. F-stops are just like that. These strange numbers, these geometry numbers, are used to control the amount of light through the lens, just like the aperture of your eye. So your smallest aperture on most lenses are f/22. And then if you want to double the light, you go to 16. Then if you want to double the amount of light, you go to 11. Then you go to 8, 5, 6, f4, 2.8, 2, 1, 4. These are your common apertures. The advantage of controlling the aperture, f-stop or lens opening, all the same thing, is controlling the amount of light that reaches a camera, sensor, or film. How do you pick the aperture? Generally by the environment or the depth of field that you need. Depth of field is the area of sharpness, and this is also hard to comprehend. When you're at the area of 8, 11, 16, and 22, in general terms, not only do you get your subject clear, but you get your background clear. In general terms, on the other end of the scale, 1, 4, 2, 2.8, when you focus on the subject, the background is generally blurred. The things that affect depth of field: number 1, aperture; number 2, the lens that you're using; and the distance, number 3, that you're focusing at. Aperture is a key to success for making you tell the story. When you buy a lens, one of the things that people forget to do is evaluate the aperture. A lot of us, when we go out and we buy lenses, we don't even think about the aperture. So that is a key feature about the lens that you're buying: how bright, how fast it is. We use this term in photography when we have a lens that opens to a larger aperture like 1.42, 2.8. We call it a brighter lens, and in photography terms, we call it a faster lens. So remember your scale. As you go from one to the other in one direction, each step is going to double the amount of light. Going in the other direction, it cuts the light in half. F-stops, lens opening, apertures are all the same thing, and they're the hardest things to learn. So the only way you're going to get there is practice and look at your results. Some cameras have a preview on them that you can preview your depth of field. Learn to use these tools. That's the difference between an amateur and a professional. Good luck.